Morning. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let's all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do a motion to approve today's agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the agenda has passed. Motion to approve of the minutes from the April 20th regular meeting. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Any discussion? Being no discussion, I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Approval of minutes have passed for April 20th, 2024 meeting. Motion to approve the minutes from the April 24th special meeting. Have a motion? Second? Discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The approval of minutes have passed. President, remarks. Today is Armed Forces Day, and I'd like to pay tribute to all the men and women who have served our great country, who have worn the uniform and have made the sacrifices to our country. We currently have 3 veterans that serve on this board today, so thank you for your service to this community and to our country. Any other things I would like to bring to the association members' attention, kudos to our law firm. Over this past year, law firm has collected over or close to $80,000 in delinquent assessments that it was at no cost to the association. So this all goes back into the operating of Ocean Pines, and the fees were through the collections of the membership. I'd also like to thank John Viol and his staff for the incredible work that they have done. And I'm sure he'll go over more of it, but we have over $1 million in positive after variance. So thank you, John, and your staff for a job well done with that. But thank you. Next up, we have one of the things that we are doing more of a tradition now is swearing in of new officers that are coming to the Ocean Pines Association. So today we are honored to have Officer Michael Embersall, who is here today to be sworn in as one of our next police officers here in Ocean Pines. Raise your right hand. I, Michael Embersall, do swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland, to support the Constitution and the laws thereof, and that I will, to the best of my skills and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of police officer according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Maryland. Congratulations.
Chief, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a GM report. John.
Sorry about that.
Good.
Thank you, John, and good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Said good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
You okay? It's only Saturday morning. We're up early, okay?
Good morning.
Just a couple things we wanted to go over this morning. Thank you for having us here today. Nothing major, but we just wanted to remind folks about the fundraising initiatives that we have going on. We have a couple new things and a couple things that are a little bit different than in past years. We've tried to put it out in the social media and things like that in the newspaper, but again, we felt like this was a good platform to tell everybody about it. So you all are probably familiar with our vehicle raffle or our truck raffle that we've been doing for the last several years. This year, we decided to do a little bit of a different spin on it. This year, we've raised the ticket prices to $100. However, with that increase in price, we are going to end up covering all the expenses that go along with winning that vehicle. So, for example, last year, the winner had to pay about $18,000 in title, taxes, tags, gaming fees, and things like that. So the increased ticket amount will not only help us raise more money, but it'll also help us cover those expenses associated with actually winning something. I don't know about you all, but I don't think about winning and then spending a lot of money. So we kind of looked at it this year and said, hey, how can we do something different and help the community while also helping ourselves? The other thing that we're doing this year that's brand new is our Queen of Hearts game. A lot of you might be familiar with it from the local Elks Lodge or VFWs or things like that. The way that our game works is we are doing drawings every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. It's a virtual drawing. Tickets are $5. You can purchase as many tickets as you want each week. And what you do is you essentially just pick a number that's not been uncovered on our Queen of Hearts board. And if your name is selected from a random generator, we'll scratch off the spot that you've chosen. And if it's the Queen, you win 60% of that advertised jackpot. If it's a Joker, you'll win $50. And just for being chosen, that winner that week wins $25. Our jackpot right now is over $7,000. Going into week 12. And so essentially the more people buy tickets, the higher that jackpot is going to go. We also have our brick fundraiser for the South Station renovation project that is still ongoing. We're selling bricks for $100 and $200. And we're going to use that for some kind of memorial or feature at the renovated or new station. Those bricks, like I said, they're $100 or $200. They're either a 4x8 or an 8x8. You can customize what they say. And then also, if anyone wants to make a larger donation along with the brick, donations of $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 and more will be identified on separate plaques that will be put up in the station. The other thing that I'd like to speak to everybody about today is some fire safety information and general safety. As we all know, we've had a lot of reported fires this year. The last time we were at this meeting, we had to leave because of a fire. And we actually had two in that day. So one of the things I wanted to point out is on our new website, we have a tab at the top that says resources. Also midway down, there's another button to click on that says resources. And on those resources, under those resources, we do have a couple different kind of buckets for resources for those in the community that can go and find more information to kind of do a self-help type of thing. So those resources are smoke alarm fire safety, fire escape planning, carbon monoxide safety, closed dryer fire safety, smoking fire safety, and a big one, especially as we're getting into May, into the summer season, is boat and marina safety. We actually do have several incidents around boats every single summer, whether it be small fires or people getting their fingers stuck in the lifts and things like that. So just be careful, look at our resources, and if you all need anything else or have any other questions about how you can keep yourself, your family, your friends safe in the community, please don't hesitate to ever reach out to us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so the next one is, thank you, Rick, on the favorable response on the financials, but there are a lot of initiatives, as always, and a lot being done here. So I want to talk about that. Linda and I will also talk about that. Okay. Chief, you're going to do something? Yeah. Go ahead, Chief. Yeah, Chief's going to talk to us. He has some, sorry about that.
Good morning, everybody.
morning.
Morning, Chief.
Well, first of all, good morning again. I want to congratulate our officer, Mike Ebersol, for making the decision to join our department. With his hiring and on the department, that brings us up to 10 officers. We have 10 officers on the department.
Way to go, Chief.
We have 3 officers slated to go to the academy, which starts July 1st. Wow. We haven't finalized that process with them, but they're going through the background right now. And the way it looks, we're gonna have 3 officers going to the academy. That academy class will graduate just before Christmas, about a week before Christmas. We are still looking for additional officers. I'm very excited. We're getting contacted regularly by individuals who are seeking employment here with the Ocean Pines Police Department. The goal of the Ocean Pines Police Department, besides being your police department, is to provide outstanding customer service. And that is one of the biggest things that when I came here was to make sure we provide the best customer service. And that's one of the reasons why I come to every board meeting. So you can hear directly from me and you can ask me questions after the board meeting and meet with me. If you're not, if you're not feel comfortable, come by the police station or calling me there, you can come see me here at the meeting. But I want to let everybody know that we are here to serve the community. And if anybody ever wants to speak to me or talk to me, I'm very easy to get a hold of at the police department. I have a little patience if I'm busy, but I will get back up with you. Also, with our customer service, we have launched a new web page. Unfortunately, the fire department stole our thunder and they launched theirs about a week before. But on our web page, we have a contact us button on the top. And if you contact us and send a message, it goes immediately to both myself and the 2 lieutenants on the department. So we do get those rather quickly. One thing I want to tell you about is a couple things that have happened. Number one, you may have seen some of the signage, the excess signage gone from the parkway. I've received a lot of positive feedback from it. And being a community member myself here, I think it looks awesome. I really think we've really beautified the parkway. And the other thing I want to let you know, some of you may have heard some excitement. I think it was a Thursday afternoon around the yacht club. If anybody heard one of our police cars going, did you hear it, Mr. Latham, with a siren on? Well, that's not normal here in Ocean Pines, but we were keeping an eye out. We had a tip of a wanted fugitive from the state of Pennsylvania that was here in Ocean Pines. And we were waiting for him. We got tipped that he was there and we were waiting for him to go on the move. And we had a low speed pursuit at about 25 miles an hour when he decided to try to go back to his house, at which point he was taken into custody without incident. So maybe because he didn't want to get his car towed off the street, but but that was the excitement. And that gentleman is sitting in the Worcester County Detention Center right now, waiting to be extradited back to the state of Pennsylvania. So thank you for the time to speak to you this morning and have a great weekend.
Great. Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Chief.
Okay. All right, so first up today, we have Terry Undercoffer. Terry is the new director of racket sports. I just let everybody know, I made a call. I usually make a call when I have a need. We had a need for a director. He let the phone ring a few times, but he eventually picked up to our benefit. So Terry's going to talk to you all today about all the exciting stuff that he's doing down there. Terry.
Good morning.
Morning, Terry.
Well, I taught public and private education for 46 years and coached for 46 years. So I was used to doing the Pledge of Allegiance and being greeted every morning by, "Good morning, Mr. Underkoffler." So that's not unusual. I wanted to talk to you today about some of our initiatives that we're working on at the Racket Sports Center this season. And so I broke them down into 3 bullet points. The first one, Mr. Viola, when we talked initially in the early part of the winter, and the new year, talked about how I was going to be coming into a new structure and a new support structure that would be a team-oriented approach versus a one-person approach. That probably was the single most factor for me coming back here. The structure that he organized, that I would be working under, is reap benefits for the site already. We have he assigned someone, Novi Violante, to be assigned to the for Public Works, to be focusing on the Racket Center. Ruth Ann Meyer from the administration building working on bookkeeping and the money intake and working with our attendants. Debbie Donahue working on special events and programming and tournaments over there. And so with having those features that I can, if I need to have something looked at, I have a direct contact to Public Works, a direct contact to the administration building. He set up a team structure that really works. And so and he encouraged me to build from that. And so what I did was I thought that the best way to do that was to organize our communication on site with our club presidents, our playing club presidents. So we initiated on a monthly basis a meeting, and I meet with all three presidents. We sit down, we talk about what their needs or what their things that they're looking at. I talk about some of the programming and some of the features initiatives we're doing there. They then the current concerns or questions that they have, because of the team structure that Mr. Viola set up, I know exactly where to send those problems, those issues, those questions. And I can't emphasize enough how much is working, and it's fostered a positive environment in working with the clubs already. The second bullet point was I wanted to improve our infrastructure and how we operate. Now, some of the things are already started to be put into place once I got there. We were alerted that there was a check-in problem, that people were, because they were, I guess, excited to play, or the fact that they didn't want to part with money in their wallet, wanted to get to the courts quickly as possible. Now, being a player, I can understand that. I want to play as quickly as possible, but we need to check in. And so Mr. Violante set up a temporary fencing around the site, along with the help with Bob Grant and some of our maintenance staff. And so we have blocked every entry except for the main one for them to come into the site. They have to come through now and go past where we check in. The second thing I did to improve our infrastructure on that check-in procedure is I moved our check-in table, our desk, into a small section of the players' lounge. The sight lines for our staff, our check-in attendants are now facing large windows in which they can see almost the whole site. And so because of the fencing, because of the sight lines of our staff, we've already caught a dozen people trying to get in past the check-in procedure. So it's working. When the numbers start to escalate, as far as, and it will, after Memorial Day, we're going to be, at 8 to 8:30 in the morning, we're going to be seeing large groups of people coming in. To accommodate that, we have a second check-in computer. Again, we have that sight lines, and at the busy times, we're going to have court monitors whose job it is to walk around and check and see if you've checked in. And so with those three things, it's already improved our check-in procedure, and really has emphasized to the people playing that we mean business. This is how we start your playing day. The other things that we've been working on, as you can imagine, is it's like the golf course, like the beach club, because we're outside and there's weathering, there are storm damage, things like that. We have to continually look at improving or fixing and maintaining the courts, the court conditions, the fencing and things like that. So we always have those. We're all constantly working on maintaining that quality, that our courts are some of the best that you can find in the area. We have also, I've also gone on, I guess you could call it a beautification project, for a better term, is that I wanted to do the kinds of things I see at the golf course, the kinds of things we do at the beach club. I wanted to make the site more attractive to the person coming in the door. I expressed that to Mr. Violante, Nobi, and he said, come over to the Public Works. I have some things for you. I went over there. They said, there was a half dozen palm trees that they were looking to disperse. I said, I'll take all 6 of them. I'll take them all. And then I said, where can I find planters? He said, you're welcome to browse through the yard. So I went into the yard with a pickup truck. And so myself and a few of my staff went in in the pickup truck, and we picked up planters that were used in another site earlier a few years ago. We brought the planters back. We got flowers. We got some perennial bushes. We dispersed them around the site. So now the site looks a little bit more cheery, I guess you could say.
Yes, right.
All right. So, and my third bullet point is my goal was to expand our programming and expand the kinds of and when I mean expand our programming, the quality of our programming as well. So, being an instructor and a coach, as a profession for 46 years, I value training. I value certification. I want to have people out there who have gone through the process professionally, they are licensed, that have liability insurance, that have passed the Safe Play Act, in which they have to go through 16 hours of online child safety protection and abuse, and that they know how to safely and professionally instruct our athletes, technically and tactically, on how to get better. So our staff is expanded. Linda Horst does our pickleball. I brought in an instructor who just recently purchased a home in the park. He had taught tennis for 40 years at the 40 West Club outside of Baltimore, and he wanted to get involved. He starts this Thursday. We have another instructor who has taught and coached. He coaches at Severn now, but he has taught and coached at the Naval Academy. He is already started this past week. So Bill Gilroy, who coached at the Naval Academy and coaches now at Severn. Rick Fulber, who's at 40 West. Aracel Popple, one of the most decorated tennis coaches in the state of Delaware in the mid-Atlantic states, is very excited also to now come down to Ocean Pines, where she has a home, and is going to be offering platform tennis, timeless tennis, spec tennis, and introductory and net generation to tennis instruction to kids. And I still dabble in coaching with tennis myself. So our staff is expanded and is offering more, and we're excited about the kinds of programming we can offer people. So those were the three initiatives I really want to, get going there. And if you can't tell, I am very excited about what's going on, and that's the kind of coaching I've always dealt with since I started coaching in my 20s.
Terry, on behalf of the board, thank you for what you are doing here and will continue to do as far as with the Racket Sports Center and bring all those initiatives forward. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Terry. You can see Terry definitely has hit the ground running. Every box that we had, he's checked, and looking for a good year. All right, headwind, tailwind. So before I get into talking about the initiatives, the financials, I just want to talk, especially it's the first month, we're in May of the new year. I always put this slide in at the beginning, in the middle of the year. So let's talk about headwinds and tailwinds and what we see. And believe me, there's a lot of tailwinds. And let me start with the tailwinds first. The condition of our amenities, the maintenance that we've done, everything we have gone around, we've checked everything, the pools, everything is looking good. The golf course, everything is looking good for the season. So I'm excited about that. The marina, I was down here yesterday. We have, right after that, with Terry, a motivated staff. You could see that, the chief and everybody else. I have the reserve study, and we've talked about this, and I just want to keep putting it out there. But the reserve study is actually in 2 sections, and Linda and I talked about that. And we see it in both. So we see it as a tailwind. This association, the team, the budget and finance, everybody back in 2017, 18, we actually put in, we initiated a reserve study, and that put us ahead of the curve with everybody else. And that's why I say that we are positioned, and I believe Budget and Finance Chair is in agreement with me, we are positioned better than we were back then. And the numbers show that. But what 5 years ago, but what I want to highlight is we don't know. These are uncharted waters now. There's new regulations. It's just a new area for it. It's good. It's good for homeowners associations. So we are scheduled to do it at the end of the year. We will work closely with BNF and some others, but we already have the team working on it, and we'll see what happens. But it is uncharted, but we are positioned better than where we were 5, 6 years ago. Whenever you're talking about headwinds, you're talking about cost, the cost of our infrastructure, the amenities, all that maintenance and everything. Statutory salaries, hourly rates have gone up over the years, and that's now part of our base. And as you know, the majority of our workers, especially in the summer, are hourly statutory workers. And we got to be competitive with our salaries. And I believe we're way more competitive than we were 6 years ago. And we did have a salary structure and a review in there. So that's where we are on that. Turn the page. The Tiki Bar, Tiki. So we were challenged. I was challenged. We were challenged by the board, but representative of the board, can you get the Tiki Bar expanded? We expect a big summer. We've seen that we can improve customer service. We're not saying we're going to be bringing in more people, but we could certainly meet the demand as it is there with this and get it done by Memorial Day. Well, a lot of people said, you know, that's a tough one. And believe me, it was. Like I said, we have a motivated staff. We're ready. It's not only ready for Memorial Day, it's ready for this weekend. It'll be open on Sunday. I know the board, we all have a ribbon ceremony. I'm excited about it. I know everybody is. It was a challenge. And I mean that in a positive way. It wasn't just a task, it was a challenge. And I'm proud of the team, just like last year with the docks, if everybody remembers, in the gas lines that we had to get because we had a situation there, and we got them done by Memorial Day. Who's that handsome guy on the left side there? That's a little surprise for Sunday. Turn the page. Podcasts. Okay, so podcasts, again, approached by the board, but this is something that Josh and myself have had on there to look at. We didn't think we didn't have on staff enough to do it. We found somebody, I think we found somebody, an excellent individual. I actually worked with him yesterday with Chief, and I'm excited about that podcast, as well as the first one. So we do have a podcast, that planning, all that comes right out of the GM office with our public relations team led by Josh Davis. This is his initiative, but the entire team will be involved with it. Bob Beckelman was the initial, did a great job on the history of the golf course. I know a lot of people down here and a lot of people have mentioned to me, and Bob's telling me also. So we're looking forward to them. The chief did one. I can't wait to hear it. I heard the beginning of it, and let's see what happens. But this will be a part of Ocean Pines. Turn page. Landscape. So I just want to go quick on the bottom left there, because you heard Terry talk about it, and this was Terry with Nobi. And credit on these palm trees. We did put a bunch of them last year in the garage at Public Works to see if they would survive the winter. They did. And Terry took them. There are some planters also that we didn't make the picture, but, you know, pretty excited about that. There's the rest of it, palm trees. We've increased the palm trees at the beach club and along the North Gate. Turn the page. North Gate, I know I got a lot of calls on this, a lot of questions. Yes, the fountains were down. They were down for a little longer than I had hoped. We had a lot of algae, that green stuff. In the ponds, excessive this year, kept clogging the fountains. We had to take them down. We brought in an outside company to treat the algae. It took about a week or two, and the fountains are back, better than ever. Page. So offshore line. Okay, so I really don't have much on this from the last time. We did have a meeting scheduled. It had to be canceled. Somebody came down with COVID or whatever. But I just want to let everybody know we are working on that. We have a team in place. There is money that has been received by Coastal Bays for us to do the first stage. So we are working on that. Hope to have more next time. But like I said, it was a COVID situation. Turn the page. Maintenance, just want to show everything. I mentioned this earlier. Everybody's ready. The beach club, everything. Terry did mention we did have ATC in there for the Hard True Courts. That's been done. They did a really good job. Terry was very pleased, as well as Nobi. ATC is coming back out for the platform tennis courts as well as the pickleball courts to address the cracks. It'll probably be somewhere when the temperature's around 80 degrees, maybe in 2 weeks, but they are scheduled. Okay. Painted all the deck. I know we get a lot of questions on the deck at the beach club. I believe the reserve study says probably in 2 years that we'll be replacing it. So we do monitor it, we do grade it every year, and we definitely maintain it. Yes.
Yeah, I know the DMA study says that in 2 years it's up for replacement, but that doesn't mean it's going to be replaced.
Correct.
If it's
a
in
good
that
point.
great a shape because of the care that you've taken of it.
Exactly. And we will reevaluate that. And sometimes we do push it out a little longer. We do replace a lot of boards. But you're right. I'm hoping that we can extend it a little. That's a big one. That's a big number. But it is the money is in the reserve study. Yep. No, you're right. Okay. So everything else is that the staff and classes, the amenities, aquatics, actually Linda's going to take over from here. Linda.
Lifeguard orientation is scheduled for June when all the lifeguards are on staff, but we do plan to have all pools open on Memorial Day weekend. They're conducting front desk training this week and next week. Like we said, fully staffed on lifeguards, but we are looking for more employees for front desk and beach parking. And we do have some new classes, bike and trampoline and water volleyball. Private parties are booked up through July. Junior lifeguard is returning this year. There's a schools out splash party on June 15th. And then there's going to be family splash nights also at Sports Core Pool on July 6th, August 3rd, and August 31st. Amenities, recreation and parks. Annual community bike ride was a success. Bay days tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. New classes offered: yoga, chair yoga, fit for core, body boot camp, and girls flag football. And upon request, we are upgrading the signs at the Racquet Center, community gardens, and there's going to be communication sign for those that cannot speak. That'll be held on Bainbridge, Manklin, and White Horse Park. And that's the copy of the sign, what's going to look like.
Linda, a quick question. The family splash night, that's different than family night at
Yes,
Yacht
yeah,
Club.
This is going to be held at Sports Corp.
Yep, and the family fun night on
It
Wednesday
will be
evenings will
same
continue.
Wednesday, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Recreation Parks Committee sent in a charging document. We were already in the works of doing a solution, so we will be having a QR codes for trails. These will be put on the bulletin boards at Swim and Racket and Bainbridge. What will happen is that you scan, it'll take us to the website, it'll give you information on what's going on in Ocean Pines, and also provide you a trail map, so you have where you can walk on Ocean Pines. Road paving completed. We are doing some kind of minor patching. I know they did St. Martin's Lane yesterday. They did the striping on there, so they were still in the area, but the roads are completed for this season.
About how many miles of roadway do we do each year?
So you're about correct. You're about three. This has been consistent since I've been here 6 years. We've got about 84 miles of road.
Yeah.
The roads, and even when anytime they do the work on the roads, we get an evaluation. The sub base is very good. So I'm comfortable with the way we've been doing it.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. And we've also built up the reserve for roads. I believe we got $1 million in there.
Mailboxes. I know a few board members were questioning. We are still working on phase one. Public Works has been able to do repairs on some of the mailboxes that we had in phase one. So instead of replacing them, they are repairing them. We have 12 mailboxes and 23 pedestals still need to be replaced, part of phase one. Cleaning of mailboxes was completed, but we have received several complaints of people putting signs with heavy duct tape. That's damaging the mailboxes. So we are now going back out and cleaning those. So we are recommending do not put anything on the mailboxes. They are private property. CPI violation dashboard, 246 violations initiated in April. That's a record actually for CPI. We're focusing on maintenance And we had the sign issue as well as grass has started. But we did apply out 170, we had 294 still open.
Hey, Linda.
Uh-huh.
Oh, as far as grass cutting, that's, there's, we've got some feedback on some of the folks that part of it's our responsibility. Is that correct?
Yes, the easement, Public Works does send a crew out. It usually takes approximately 3 to 4 weeks to get around to all of Ocean Pines. It's a 2-man crew. They're getting around as fast as they can. So yes, the part on the road, on the stripe on the road.
Got you. Thank you.
Work order report, 132 new work orders, 188 still open, the majority still open in drainage, 102. 36 are over 30 days, 27 over 60 days. But we are going to probably contract most of them out because they're high priority that need to be jetted out. And for customer service, 149 emails and phone calls. Any questions? Just email info@oceanpines.org.
Excuse me, Lynn.
Hmm?
What is the record for OPA, info@opa.org? Do you have
I
a
think, like,
record?
last August, we had like 300.
Wow.
It's when people come in town, that's when we get a lot of questions about the amenities.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Okay, it's financial. So before we get to the first one, I just wanted to, obviously, we just finished our 12 months, April 30th year end. At this point in time, and I get this question every year, where are the financials? So the year end always takes longer. We do have an audit. We don't have final audited numbers as every other year and every other place until beginning of July with our year end. In the meantime, budget and finance is updated for every meeting, and I will update today on where we are forecasted, estimated for the 12 months, which I've done every year, and our team and Steve have done every year. So I'm going to talk to you about that, but please understand these are unaudited. We call them flash. We've always done estimates, and we've been pretty much in the ballpark. So I'll talk to you about that now. All right, so for the month of April, we continue to have favorability to budget. That's the way our scrolls tell us we should be reporting. I should be reporting. And we are favorable. That doesn't mean it's a surplus. A lot of this money is already earmarked, and we've talked about that all year long. The big point here, same like when I talked on the year to date, is the favorability is mostly coming from revenues. Right, so it's a big number, and we do have favorability in expenses. I'll talk more on the year to date number, but it's a lot of it is organic. A lot of it is driven by golf and this clubhouse grill, which is a function of this golf course. And this golf course is packed, and all the golfers are going in there. So we're seeing a lot of favorability, a lot of organic growth there. Also compliments to the team that's in there, the food and beverage team, for their great service. The page. So this is the detail on there for the month. You can see where golf ops, aquatics, and let's talk about aquatics also. And that's another great job. We have a new director there who has hit the ground running, doing a terrific job. Linda showed you all the different initiatives, programs that she has jump-started, and is certainly showing in numbers in the favorability when I showed the year to date. Beach Park is always there. Rec and Parks, Linda also showed you what Debbie has done there. More programs, and the cost of Rec and Parks has come down over the years. Turn the page. The administration, we did have favorability.
Question.
Sure.
Police favorability, is that still a function of some of our open positions?
Yes. So, and that's a good question. So on the police, we do have favorability. It is in the salaries. We do have open positions. We do have offsets for overtime. There is favorability, but this will be a good time for me to point it out. We did implement board's approval and everybody on a pension equivalent. We now need to fund that. So that cost is probably going to be about $100,000. Originally, we didn't have that budgeted. We did that during the year, and it was a good move. So that will come out of that favorability for the police. Yeah.
Hey, just real quick,
Yeah.
to piggyback on that, to what John had mentioned as far as the increase for our pension for our officers. That's because we don't, and for those that aren't familiar with, we as an association aren't eligible for LEOPS. LEOPS is a retirement system for police officers that are with municipalities. So unfortunately, we don't qualify for that. So what we have done as a board and has implemented a system that is very comparable mention on that we've done a competitive pension plan for that.
Yep. Let me just also, I almost forgot this, and the other reason for the favorability in the police, it's not just on the salaries, it's grant writing. Chief has, what's the number, about 60, 80? How much in grants? Excellent. So in that favorability is probably around $50,000-$60,000 of grants. Credit to the chief and his team. All right, so April year to date. So year to date, with that estimated forecasted number for the month, and we've been on track every year pretty much at this time, just waiting for the audit. Overall, we're favorable $1.2 million. Favorable $1.2 million to budget, and that's on top of a budget where we had a decreased assessment, as well as more spend, more maintenance, more drainage, or increased, just continuing with drainage that we didn't have years ago. So it's not just that we cut or anything, and you can see again, I would just want to highlight here, that 1.2, 900,000 plus is from revenues. Team effort. Turn the page. Okay, so there's the detail there. I did point out this time where we did have favorability on insurance premiums. A lot of times we don't know because it's towards the end of the year that we received them. Again, credit to the team, the accounting team, and everybody that worked on it, Linda, myself, that we got better premiums, and that's also a function of our workforce. So that came in favorable, and that's why you got a lot favorability in that section for this month. All right, turn the page. All right, so we've looked at this. This is an important schedule, especially with the DMA study coming up. This is pretty much your balance sheet scorecard as far as I'm concerned. Of course, the whole balance sheet is important. In the bottom right corner, you can see this is where we're estimating. This is where we're probably going to be in our reserve, $7.1 million. We were around $8 million, but we had a lot of spend at the end of the year. We got bulkheads coming in, the tiki bar, and a lot of other items that we have listed, and we will detail that. But that's where we're at, $7 million, so you can get an idea where we'll be when we have the DMA study. Yep.
I have another question. John, can you explain, just so for everyone's edification, the casino funds and how those funds have to be used?
So the casino funds, and if you look up there, it's usually around $300,000-$400,000. It has gone up the last couple of years. We allocate that for infrastructure. There are stipulations on how to use it. We've stayed the course on it. We've utilized that for the roads. $400,000. The roads come in usually around 100. It used to be we could do a 1 mile of road for 100,000, maybe 90,000. Now it's about 120, 125. So it's earmarked for roads. We could utilize it for any other type of infrastructure. I'm looking at drainage, but right now we're going to stay that course on the roads. Yep.
Thanks, John. Treasurer's report.
All right, the flash estimate for the month of April, as of April 30th, the association had approximately $18.7 million in cash. The cash increased $40,000 from the same period last year. Cash increased $3.8 million from March 2024. We have $10.5 million invested in CDARS. We've accrued $47,000 in interest income for the month. The remaining $8.2 million is in insured sweep accounts, treasury bills, money markets, and other operating accounts diversified between 2 banks.
Thank you, Monica. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda, we have public comments. Members wishing to make comments must state their name and address. And comments are limited to 5 minutes. So those who wish to make public comments, please come forward to the podium.
Water Green. It's my first dance, so not sure how everything works, but in regards to the skate park, and that facility, the basketball courts and all, just kind of want to move forward with that. My son and I have been with his friends there 231 days straight. He's going for 365 days. It's my son Brody. So he's got a goal. So we're excited about that. I've seen a lot of positive things happen since we've been there. A lot of trash everywhere. The kids are not paying attention to things. Trying to teach them skate etiquette. We have a lot of bicycles that come there. We support anything on wheels. I don't care if they're 3 years old on a scooter or the 38 years old on a bicycle. So we're trying to kind of get that moving in the right direction. As you know, Ocean Bowl did a lot of work to their facility, did a lot of expansion, which is fantastic. We're seeing a lot of new people coming in. Like I said, 231 days. I've got to know a lot of the locals, but I'm seeing a lot of people coming from a lot of different states. It's been great. Trying to keep the language proper, trying to keep the trash picked up, things like that as what I'm trying to instill in the kids, that if we take care of it, then they're going to take care of us and they're going to want to do things for that skate park. So I guess my question is are we moving forward to do anything in that direction with the skate park? Just to hit a couple things, there's coping, which is the grinding area on the top of the pools and the elevations. There's a couple cracks in there. Those things need to be repaired. Electrical outlets might be a good thing. The kids get there with their phones. There's nowhere to plug them in to charge them. Things like that might be good. Maybe some seats, things like that. I don't know where we want to go with this, but just throwing out some ideas just to make it a little bit nicer and a little bit safer for the kids. So that's it. Hope I can, anybody have any questions, keep in contact.
Doctor.
So just to make sure, so we're going to follow up on this.
Yes.
What are your bullet points? Seating, electricity, and what?
The coping repair, which is the metal tubing at the top. What I don't want is somebody to get cut on it. It's got some breaks in it. It could be power wash. That would really help. It starts to get the algae. As you know, it's shaded because it's in that tree line. That would be a great thing to do. Seating, there's no seats there. So where the kids do their tricks, there's a rail there at the back side. That's where everybody sits. It's kind of dangerous because if somebody's coming out there to do a trick, the kids don't know to move. They've got all their baggage there. So we're just trying to keep it cleaner, nicer, and safer, and more inviting to the people that are coming down. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from the new people that I've been meeting, that they really love it and want to know if there's any plans to expand it, to do. I know Easton did a pump track. A lot of kids would like to maybe do a pump track around there. So just want to try to head that up and kind of be the main guy to kind of figure things out and move forward with that.
Yeah, unless someone says something to us, we don't know that there's an issue there. That's why.
Exactly, and that's why I wanted to come and do that, yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wish to make comments?
Michael Hahn. This is in regards to the skate park as well here in Ocean Pines. And on behalf of all the skate park or the skateboarders, BMXers, scooters, we really like to thank you for putting that skate park there to begin with. As a healthcare worker for 19 years at Tidal Health, this is my gym. I like to exercise there and get my sweat on, as with Dale and all the other children. Like you said, there does need to be some repair. The concrete has some chipping. Resurfacing needs to be taken into account. And the coping, there are some jagged little edges. And just in support for expansion potentially. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
One last one for the
Please state
skate park.
your name and your address.
Vernon Zweifel. I don't actually live in Ocean Pines, but I'm just I member of the skate park.
I understand it. Unfortunately, that as a member,
I just want to comment. I don't want to make anything else. I just want to make comments and thank yous because this is the first year.
hold on a second, parliamentarian. Okay. Okay. I'll bring this to the board. Should we suspend that with a comment?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you because it's
Sure.
the first year that BMX bikes are allowed in the skate park. So that finally being allowed, I just want to say thank you because that's my outlet, my passion, and I've always wanted to ride there. And it means a lot to the community that we're finally allowed there. So thank you.
Awesome. Have you ever thought about moving to the Pines?
By what?
Have you ever thought about moving to the Pines and becoming a resident? You don't have to answer now. I'm just, you don't have to answer right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Any other comments? Please come forward.
Hi, I'm Lisa Foster. I live on Bridgewater and we've been there since 2019. My concern is the boat slip wait list. We've been on this wait list since 2021 and it started out number 86. The following year went down to 63. They said at the beginning 3 years, then it went to 36. And this year we checked and we remain at 36, which means nobody's moved. And yet I have seen advertisements where people are encouraged to join this and to get a boat slip. And I'm just wondering where we stand and if there's a plan that at someday, hopefully we can use a boat slip.
I don't know if you want to talk about that. We have had some discussion about the possibility of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want
Yeah,
to
go
say?
ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, we're limited. We have 96. Our prices are very good, and there is a big demand. There is a list. There is also another possibility. There is another possibility that we have been looking at to increase the amount of slips. I have not come forward to the board yet, but there has been some discussions. I have mentioned some stuff in board meetings. As we get this kind of feedback, maybe this will be some of the reasons why we can do it, but we are looking to try to increase the slips.
I appreciate that. And also when we email in regards to this, we get no response. So how do we,
Where did you
Keep
send
in the
it?
loop.
Where did you send it to? All
do you want me to say?
right, why don't you give it to us on the way
Okay.
out and then
Yeah.
we'll look into it Monday.
Okay, thank
And I
you.
appreciate that you did. Yeah, give it to Linda and we'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the floor on public comments. Next up, we have capital requests. John?
Yeah, but where's the slide? All right, so apparently there's no slide, but let me just put it into my wording. So coming forward with team recommendation, here it is, requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation of $45,443 at Hertrick of Elkton for a Ford FUV to replace the Sport Track that's 10 years old.
And this is, I know it's a preferred vendor, but the truck is available at the current time.
Exactly. That's the other thing is the truck is available. We've had situations in the past, especially with this type of equipment that we couldn't get it, but yes, it's available.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a motion to approve a capital request of $45,443.34 for the purchase of a Ford SUV truck for Public Works. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
John, does this truck come with an extended warranty or you usually don't do something like that?
We don't, it's the standard. We do not do the extended warranties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on this purchase request? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so, go ahead.
How many vehicles does this leave us down in our fleet?
So this is a replacement, and just to backtrack on that, we did take this fleet down. We took it down 5 a couple years ago. I came forward, we took it down. We repurposed 3 to get those Tahoes for the police. So to answer your question, we're down 2. This is a replacement of a vehicle in service.
But it keeps us down 2, so we're looking for 2 more vehicles.
Correct.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
still down 2.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, calling a question. All in favor of the capital request of $45,443.34 for the purchase of the Ford SUV truck, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes for that purchase. Next up, CPI violations.
Violations have received a first and second notice per resolution MO1. No hearing was requested and violation continues. And with recommendation, we're one afforded violations legal and suspend voting and amenity rights. We are removing 2 of them because they have new owners. So 12 Southwind and 26 Morning Mist have been removed from this list since we will be sending it to new owners.
Which one?
240 Ocean Parkway, 5 Windjammer Road, 10 Windjammer Road, 2 Mates Court, 13 Riverside Court, 43 Tail of the Fox Drive, 85 Martinique Circle, 1 Brandywine Drive, 16 Footbridge Trail, 1350 Ocean Parkway, and 44 Brandywine Drive.
Any discussion? Steve, not bad. Steve, good. Steve, go ahead.
Quick, you said you're taking 2 off this list? Which 2?
Yes, 12 Southwind and 26 Morning Mist. I did not announce them. They have been removed from the list that was on the agenda just because they have new owners. They changed, there's new owners to the property.
12 Southwind, what was the other one?
12 Southwind and 26.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just, again, wanted to thank the CPI and Linda's team, because this was something that we really wanted to ramp up, is to, make our neighborhoods look better, address those kinds of items. They've been working terrifically hard, and I know, every once in a while I'll get a email from a homeowner going, "We thought you guys were doing something, and we're still seeing this house near us that is in disrepair." And what folks don't realize, that there was an initial ramp up that we had to do. We were out of compliance with state regulations. We had to go through that process, which was a good 90 days. In the background, and because we were out of compliance for a while, is we had to re-notify everybody. There's a process, it's a time frame, and it's about 90 days, truthfully, but between when you can first give notifications and that the case may go to court for the most egregious violators. So, when we suspend amenities and that kind of thing, that doesn't always, most of those folks, truthfully, who haven't taken one step of getting rid of their rubbish and other problems, could really care less that we've suspended their amenities because they probably aren't using them. It's just one of the tools that we do hope pushes a lot of people, and it does. I mean, Linda can probably tell you, once those things go out, each step along the way, you get a certain amount of people complying. But we are now finally caught up. I know our attorney, his firm, which has taken over the court actions, they weren't just sitting there, never getting anything done. But they had a backlog. We dropped, what was it? I think, Linda, 100 and some cases in their lap, when we were finally in compliance. So now they're caught up. You'll see this as a regular thing. People will start really getting the notice that, hey, we're not fooling around. Be a good neighbor, take care of your property. And it's working. And thank you and your team because you guys are really working very hard at this.
Hold on. Monica.
Yeah, I agree with everything Elaine has said, and I was in the admin building yesterday, and Michelle stood there and took a whole raft of stuff from somebody that was very irate. She didn't think it was fair, and Michelle, the way she dealt with it, so professional, so calm. So kudos again to you, your staff, for helping us enforce what we said we were going to do. So thank you.
John.
Yeah, I just want, for the homeowners, just wanted to add, we often get messages, folks that do get violations, feel they've been targeted. And everyone will point across the street, this person has, a junk car or something. What they typically don't understand is that person may be in violation. And to Elaine's point, that may be sitting out there. It may be somewhere in the process. It may be with legal, but we just want to assure you that we're not targeting folks for CPI violations. We spent a lot of time last year getting our language to such a place where we can actually, take action, and you're starting to see the results of that. So I just wanted to mention that and kind of piggyback on to Elaine's comments.
Rick, I'm sorry, can I make one?
Council, yes, council.
Picking up on what Elaine said, I think I saw in the CPI slide that 170 violations were closed this month. It's important for the membership to know that means that 170 people or owners out of compliance are now in compliance, just based upon the efforts or closures this month. So that's an enormous number. I just wanted to emphasize that.
Great.
So.
Thank you, council. No, public comments are over at this time. We could talk afterwards. Okay.
I just wanted to mention to everybody that you put us here and asked us to do this. So that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, question, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Unfinished business, we have none at this time. For new business, we have Monica with the first reading of resolution F04 for delinquent assessments.
Thank you,
Monica?
Rick. Topic is first reading of proposed changes to consider and adopt revisions to resolution F04 as revised and vetted by legal. This is to establish policy for the collection of delinquent annual charges. The background is an effort to document the actions the board of directors is authorized to take for the collection of delinquent annual charges / assessments.
Any discussion with this topic on F04 at this time? So I think the next step, we'll move forward next month for a second reading on F04. Okay. Gotcha. And next up, we have discussion with Monica regarding the season kickoff and the discussion of establishing a committee for the season kickoff.
Topic is season kickoff success and establishment of a committee. The statement is to discuss and to congratulate the committee and establish a formal committee. The background, Ocean Pines Association hosted its first season kickoff and expo on April 20th at White Horse Park. The event was designed to launch the 2024 season by showcasing Ocean Pines Association amenities, the many clubs, organizations, and businesses that serve our community. Attendees were able to sign up for amenity memberships and lessons while enjoying music and demonstration. And I know along my board members will agree, would like to thank the co-chairs, the committee members, and OPA staff. Without their amazing efforts of volunteers, this event would not have happened. I would like the board to consider forming a formal committee and make the season kickoff and expo an annual event.
Thank you, Monica. Any discussion? Elaine?
My recommendation on that would, instead of establishing a new committee, because it's kind of a, I don't want to say a short-term thing, but it's, it's not a year-round, need to get it organized, is to put it with the communications committee. It really, in my mind, kind of follows what their aims are, is communicating to our membership. That's really what the kickoff was about. Learn about, find out about our amenities, our services, all of this sort of stuff. And kind of a bonus is that Linda Urchi, who was really spearheading along with Gary, just happens to be the chair of that committee. And so in my mind, instead of creating a new committee, throwing it over to the communications committee may be the way to go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And, I don't think it's necessary for a new committee. And communications is what this has been all about, and fostering all the great things we have to offer.
Great, thank you. Jeff?
Thanks, Rick. I love what I hearing from the rest of the board. I had this in my notes was, is there some way we could repurpose an advisory committee to do this? This was, in my opinion, an awesome event. Especially for our advisory committees, they got a lot of valuable information from the association members that they collected during this thing. We have 11 committees right now. I agree with Elaine. The communications is probably the best one for it. So I'm all in for that. And I'm really looking forward to the official debrief that we get from the ad hoc committee. Go ahead. Steve, go ahead.
Thanks, Rick. Yeah, I mean, in the short time that I was a liaison with the communications committee, the purpose of the kickoff was something that Linda, I know, was always talking to. I mean, it was something that really drove her. And I think she and Gary both deserve a big pat on the back for all that they did, as with our staff and all the volunteers that helped. I would make I think the idea of tying it to communications is probably a good idea. I think the other thing, everything I've heard and saw indicates it was an overwhelming success, with the possible exception, apparently there was some parking issues, which I was not aware of, but apparently there were some parking issues, but leave that aside. The only thing I would point out is this was done essentially at no expense. And I think that in addition to the goals of what the day represents, that has to be a continued emphasis. It should not be at some point where the committee says, yeah, well, Ocean Pines will just write out a check to cover everything. So as long as we're fine with it being essentially a zero expense function, I think it's all good. But over time, I don't want us to be sort of a piggy bank for the function itself. But it was a great day, and hopefully the next several years will be even better. So, yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that.
And
Monica?
just to follow up, I met with Gary and Linda after the event, and both have since gone on extended vacations. But but I will tell you, they shared emails they received from the vendors and the participants, and all just outstanding compliments to the committee and all the volunteers that were there. The night before, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 people wrote about 1,000 maps of the large Ocean Pines maps, so everybody needed a little wrist thing. But no, my point being is, after year-end close, kind of get with Steve and see what those numbers bottom line ends up being. But I do believe we probably made a few dollars. So, not any cost, Ocean Pines. And so hopefully we can just go forward. But the feedback was outstanding. People were already saying, sign me up for next year.
How many people? Listen, if we had a parking problem, thank goodness. I hope we have a parking problem next year too. So kudos to that team. My goodness, Gary and Linda did an outstanding job, along with all the volunteers and all of the support they got from our operations part. It was amazing to see everybody. Listen, I didn't know we had a photography club. Did you? I'm telling you, there were so many clubs there. And if you wanted to get involved in anything, this place is almost like a cruise ship. You can be as active as you want or as inactive as you want. There's stuff going on all the time. They did a great job.
Any other discussion on this? One thing I would like to do before we move this forward, if we will have some official communication with the chair, as far as letting them know our recommendation, or let's see how they take it as far as putting it in this type of event within their committee. And then next month, maybe we can bring that up on some sort of a motion with that. Thoughts?
I'll make that motion just because I'm the liaison to
Okay.
communications. So it's relatively easy for me to, at the next meeting, just bring them up to speed on it.
Okay.
My personal feeling is that they would actually like to do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that.
Absolutely.
Liaison
Yeah,
standpoint.
so I'll make a note to do that at the next communications meeting and report back.
And I will tell you, Linda is very much in favor of the idea. We just kind of the follow-up meeting. It just seemed to make a lot of sense.
Great.
So.
Thank you. Any other comments regarding that? Okay, next up, we're going to have Elaine Brady talk about the historical task group with an update.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting after we had talked about it, or it suggested it last month. A whole lot of people reached out. I was so excited about it. You never know who is going to respond to be on a group. And it was really over a dozen folks that were very, very interested. And folks whose names that, many of them I had never seen actively on any committees before. So that's even an extra bonus. We just had our first meeting, which was more of an organizational thing and an idea, and getting to know each other, and what part of what we're trying to do are people interested in. The great thing is that we have a really terrific mix of folks who came out for this task group. We've got folks who were here from day one who have such inherent information, and history. We've got other people who just love to dig into researching, others who can help out in a variety of ways. So it's a little bit of brainstorming, getting to know one another, getting to know what people really wanted to do, what they would. So it was kind of a great start. We did it specifically as a work group because it's kind of a shorter term than any kind. It doesn't need to be an ongoing committee. Truthfully, I think what we all felt, it will eventually morph into a historical society where there'll be a group of volunteers as this community continues to age, and everybody here is no longer here. We know there will be a group of people, talking about the history that we're creating right now.
Great. Thank you for that. Okay, next up, we have appointments. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion for the appointment of Kevin Middleton as the chair of the Architectural Review and Fred Robinson for first-term elections. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah.
But Steve?
Yeah, thanks. I have no problem with these nominations. I just, on the application of Mr. Middleton, he has an address listed, not Ocean Pines. And it says he's been a property owner for 27 years. I have no problem with that.
Right.
I would suggest maybe we just correct the address.
Sure, we'll go ahead and correct that. I know we did the search on that as far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. I just seems we should have the Ocean Pines address.
Sure.
And that's
Okay,
just my suggestion.
Sure.
And just to add to that, because again, I'm liaison, but it just happened to be that's the second committee I'm liaison for. Kevin has been very active, even though he does not live here full time. He in person attends probably 99% of those meetings. And part of what people don't realize with the art committee is that they actually take time prior to a meeting, going out and visiting the sites, making sure that they truly understand what a property looks like when they're asking for a variation. They work very, very hard. They really, they try to help out homeowners when they can, but they're very strict about our DRs. And he's been terrific. And it was nice to have someone like him be able to replace John Dilworth, who really for 6 years was absolutely fantastic and on that committee.
Right.
So
Any further discussion? See no further discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
I
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes for the appointments. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.